Hello. What's up? Doing lip roll shit. Shut up with your bullshit. Oh, I'm 22 and trendy. Wow, none of those people do anything with their lives. Fuck you, bitch. Imagine thinking, oh, don't be so high energy. Don't be happy. Don't be happy. It's annoying. Fuck off. Um, you know, what is it? It's the seed within you. If you have the creative seed, the vision, the dream, that's within you, right? That's yours. That's your thing. What you have to do is figure out how to manipulate physical reality, including building up your body and neural structures and everything, your brain, in order to make it so you can do what you want to do in real life, right? So if you have the idea of being a gymnast, you could go try to be a gymnast and you're probably gonna mess up the first time you try. That's fine. Doesn't mean you shouldn't try. Doesn't mean, you have no talent. No, that's fucking bullshit. People who say that are assholes. They have no idea what they're talking about. You have to build up the musculature in your body and the training and the understanding in order to be able to do that stuff. It takes practice. And it's also your neurology too. That's fine. That doesn't mean you have no talent. It doesn't mean it's not meant for you. That doesn't mean you can't do it. It just takes a while. It's the same thing with art. If you think you're going to be able to sing really well, like really high or something for long periods, you have to understand your vocal cords are muscles too. So if you don't build those up and train those, you're not going to be able to use them that well. So that's what I'm thinking. It's the same thing with like guitar, like being able to like properly move your fingers and stuff. That's musculature, man. And it's also logical understanding, knowing how to do that and getting a feel for it, increasing your musical ability, your ear, that kind of thing. That you just build that up over time, right? So it's fine. It doesn't mean if you can't do it right away, it doesn't mean you suck. At the very least, it means you suck right now, but it just means like, you could be really good because in your mind you could be envisioning all these different things. That's great. That's really what's going on, I think. But you just have to keep working until reality reflects what's in here. That's all. And just keep doing that until you do that, and then do whatever you want. You know. So I don't know. Um, so I'm thinking now, like regimented practice can be good for you. And the reason why is it's easy to measure, and it's a consistent baseline that anybody can try, and then you can use it to measure things. Like, okay, I have trouble around this area. I have trouble around this area. Trouble around this area. And then you can see your progress. If you do the same regimented exercise all the time, every day, until you get really good at it, you can see your progress with it. You're like, oh, if this feels easier than yesterday, or that part that I had trouble with yesterday, I have less trouble with today. And then like a month later, you'd be like, well, I don't have trouble with the whole thing. I can do the whole thing easily. And then it's just maintenance, I guess. But you want to figure out a good maintenance routine so that you can do all of it consistently all the time. And then there's an inevitable degradation, which is really sad. That's the thing. There's an inevitable physical and mental degradation of all humans, which is terrible. And that's aging, I guess. If you can figure out how to stop that, that'd be amazing. But when you're young, it's just about building it up, and you have like these 10 years in your 20s where you can just kind of kick ass and then just do whatever you want. That's when you're supposed to dance and fly around with flying colors. And I had a misunderstanding, like, because I thought like your 30s were that, and no, it's your 20s, man. But you still in your 20s you learn too. But I think a lot of maybe society. Oh, maybe I'm wrong, but I think you're at your peak like physical fitness when you're in your 20s. Um, in terms of like if you do everything right, that's where you can get your peak. Um, and then it does go downhill. It starts slowly, but it does happen. it starts to happen. Um, but I think a lot of society sometimes we very inadequately prepare our kids for that because the goal should be to have like the most explosive, amazing 20s as possible. And it's not like you shouldn't like wait to specialize in anything until you're 18. Like I don't know about that. Like because some kids have like really severe interests, like me. I got really interested in a lot of different things. When I was around 12, 13, 14, I was really interested in like computers and visuals, and then around 14, I was really interested in music, and I started doing a lot of that. And I think if I was allowed to really, really specialize and just be like, all right, well, you're really good at this, so you don't need to do all the other shit anymore. So let's just go in this direction, because obviously, like you have the enthusiasm, and it seems like you're making a lot of progress. So let's go. Um, and the other stuff is, you know, oh, what about high school? It's like, dude, like if people are, I'm gonna say this too, if people are above a certain level of intelligence, like at a certain point, they can drop high school and go back to it later. Like I think I have a decently high IQ, so I think if I like left high school at 16 and went back and got my GED, I would have been fine. Because this stuff is not that hard, and I needed to focus on timing. That's the thing. Like, and if you're a parent, or anybody, timing is really important. Focusing on like the time that you have. If there's an opportunity available, go take it. Take it. If it's really something you want to do, like being like a famous musician or something or an actor, just go do it. It's not like, no, you need to do like this normal flow of things and then you can do it everywhere. That's ridiculous. That is so ridiculous and is not true. Because obviously we have child stars. Obviously, the kids in Stranger Things. It's very, very obvious that you don't need to do things in that way. So if you're a parent and you're being really obstinate, it's like, no, that's not possible. It's obviously it is. And if you're a kid, try to get away from those people because they might be narcissists and they might be controlling. They might just be abusive and assholes, and they like to crush kids' dreams. People do that. So I feel like that kind of happened to me. So avoid those people. They suck. Try to get away from them as early as possible and stop trying to argue with them, because they will try to crush you at every turn. And see if you can run away, stay with a relative or something, or just go for opportunities anyway. Try to figure out someone to do it away from them because they won't help you. And they're all they're doing is just causing you to spin your wheels, which is abuse and horrible, horrible, a horrible thing you could do because to take someone's opportunities away from them, it's like the same thing as killing them, right? Except that they have to live through the pain, and it's like those people are evil, and I think they should spend some time in hell to think about what they did and be punished for it because I think they really deserve it. So. Let's sing. Public speaker. Speaker. Preach. This is crazy. There's some vocal exercises that you use a straw. Put a fucking straw in your mouth and you blow in it and sing through it. It's nuts. Maybe never tried this. Maybe she thinks she can't do it. So she just kind of like poo-poos it. And I said, well, I have all this money and you don't. She really gets on. And I can tell you how it goes. Like a lot of it is like, first of all, figuring out what I like, my own taste, and exploring that. That took a long time. Travel the world, listen to a lot of music, explore a lot of media, like that thing. Try to do different things. That can take a while, and that takes forever, to be honest. Because you always discover something new. Um, and the rest of it, yeah, like I can't even beat myself down when people. They really lock you down. Because they're kind of just there and upset. Your mom is abusive, and your dad is just an asshole. Gave up on his dreams entirely. Totally gave up on me. Like a bitch. Anything you can. Yeah. So, my best advice is just start. And probably like you're not willing to write this like cute little viral hit on your first one. Like that happens for some people. Like they will like, oh, hi guys, I'm 13 and my dad's taught me guitar and I wrote a song on Christmas and it's called Love You Always. And I will teach you. I'm not really expecting any other. I just kind of like, I just like songwriting, and I know it's not so good. And I'll go posting like cute little thing, and I'll be like some cute little girl, and like it'll get like 10 million hits. Be like, this is amazing. Someone call Scooter Braun, like, and sometimes that happens. I will tell you two things though. Um, you know, the only time that something like that happens is if you actually try and upload stuff. So you can try that and just upload it and see what happens. And maybe it could happen. Cool. Um, if it doesn't happen, that does not mean you suck. It doesn't. You just have to kind of keep going and figure it out. Like, okay, well, like, it's possible that something you made, the first thing you made was really good, and it's just that no one saw it. This is just chance. Why did I do that? Yeah, it's possible that just no one saw it because it's just chance. Different like viral algorithms, stuff like that. Um, tried, but I don't think you did. You didn't try at all. You know, you just kind of like sat there jealous. So, really try. Some of the most you can do. Right? And maybe like an attempt is the most that will ever happen. Okay, at least you tried. Like a real try. Go for the big kahuna, guys. Don't let people detract you and deter you from going for the big kahuna, especially if you're a kid. Holy shit, if you're like really young, you got your whole life to do that shit. You're fine. Nothing wrong with you. You're 10 and your dream is to be a movie star? Fuck yeah, dude. You got so much time. If you work on that shit every day, by the time you're 20, you'll have 10 years of experience. Well, that shit's amazing. So, hell yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm starting to think that maybe like you do have to do some trend watching in this world. Like, if the equivalent of the printing press gets invented, you can't just stick your head in the sand. Um, so I don't know. Some things you gotta know. Yeah, don't let people deter you from your dreams, especially if you're young. Because the thing is that if you don't have a purpose that you're going towards, you're not alive, and it ruins so many things within you. You become this like bitter, evil person that's always criticizing everybody else. But instead, what you want to do is just go for your dreams. Just go for it. You know, I think there's all sorts of things that come from that. It's like there's that saying. It's like, and from age like 0 to 30, you get the face that you were born with, and from age 30 onward, you get the face that you deserve. Um, like all this stuff, like it just contributes to like people being ugly and like it's awful. So go for it. I'm gonna try this breathing warm-up thing. This is crazy here. That's really hard. Whew. Holy shit. I think everybody should be growing plants and selling them. Become more self-sufficient. It's a good thing. Anybody who gets in the way of that, probably somebody tries to make you not self-sufficient. That's evil. There's some evil going on there. Don't let evil exist. Not a good thing, I think. Get into the butt immediately. That's really hard. Whew. I wonder if that's because of my asthma. I do. That's really hard. That is very, very hard. Holy shit. It's difficult, especially to keep it going, like scale after scale. And I don't understand why they're doing this. They sometimes they do chromatic movements, and other times they do a whole step movement up to the next scale that they're playing. I know why they're doing that. I'm thinking now that actually being very logical and understanding all like the scientific details about music and everything, including music theory and everything. Don't let it color what you're doing, but it's still just like you can do it. It's easy understanding. Like you can understand it. Maybe that's good because that's what I did with programming. I understand a lot about programming, and I went through a lot of stuff, and it became more automatic for me. I mean, if I do that with music, it'll be good too. So I don't know. But I just like I don't like just want to like learn something and say, well, that's just how it is. It's like no, like maybe I don't agree with it. I want things to be different. You know, been developing this thing I would call music theory 2.0, for example, where I don't fully like the idea of enharmonic equivalence, stuff like that. Like, because you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then you have like, A sharp or B flat, C sharp, D flat, and then E sharp is a weird one, but it technically does exist. Same with F flat. It's like, it's annoying. I don't really fully like how that is. So I thought, well, why don't we just name all of the notes as their own letter? So I have A through L, and then from that I was like, well, how do you represent that on a staff? And then I realized 5 lines is not enough, so I added a sixth line, so you can represent A through L. And then I was like experimenting with how to show common chords and stuff and notes and whatever on a 6-line staff. And the thing is that it looks less pretty and it doesn't look as like geometrically consistent, like where like, oh, like that is obviously like a triad with some accidentals. So you can just kind of think of it like that. Because the shapes start to look different. So maybe it would make it harder to read music. But in my opinion, that enharmonic and sharps and flat calculation is so difficult. It's so taxing on the brain. And maybe like there's a trick to it that I'll just kind of figure out if I like really get good at reading it. But like just because of that extreme tax, instead of like just like why doesn't it just tell you this is the note to play? But it's like, oh, this is a note, but you have to like calculate in your head, like, well, was there a sharp or a flat in the key signature? And then you have to like, oh, it's C, but it's C flat, or it's C, but C sharp. That's unbelievably annoying. And then you especially have to think, well, was there an accidental in the measure before it, right? If it was there already, then you have to keep that accidental in mind. And it's just so annoying. It's like, well, why can't you just tell me the exact note that you want me to play? Because it makes it seem as if there's something special about notes that have an accidental on them, whereas there's nothing special about them at all. It's just another note, right? There's C sharp, for example, is not related to C. It's not. It's a completely distinct note on its own. The only thing that makes it related to C is that in our Western scale, right? C sharp is one note directly above C. That's the only thing that makes it related to C. As far as I know, maybe there's some frequency stuff or whatever, but it's not like it's supposed to be its own distinct pitch class, right? But we have this notation system that how we write it. It's like it's as if that C sharp is like it's like a species of C or something. It's not. Not the music theory term species, because that's a thing I think, like with counterpoint or whatever. No, I'm just talking about like it's another flavor of C. It's not. It's not another flavor of C. And it's funny because I do think of it sort of in that way. Like in my mind, I might have a bit of synesthesia. So for me, like C is green, right? And C sharp is almost like a turquoise kind of color. Like it's like a, hold on a second. Um, but yeah, C sharp is it's like a blue green, like a sea green almost. Seafoam green, I don't know, but and it's like kind of like a little muted, little darker. Um, that's how it kind of appears in my mind. Like A, for example, is a little bit yellow. Um, but so maybe like there is something about it because we have the equal temperament scale, and it's not like perfect, evenly placed. Well, is it? Maybe it is. I thought it was like kind of not completely accurate. Like they're sort of spaced apart in a different way. Um, so maybe that's why my brain thinks of it that way, or because I know it's like C and C sharp, so I just think it's kind of related. But it's not. And in my system, everything started at C, so I changed the name of C to A. Maybe that's confusing. Maybe I should do A as A, and then, instead of A sharp or B flat, that's B. And then B would be C. And then you just go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then from there, you're like, what is it? This is my system that I've been working on. It's not actually how things are. So right now I have A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, B flat, B, C, whatever. But my system would be A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So G would be like E flat or D sharp, and then you just keep going down the letters. So it's like H, I, J, K, L. So those would be different. So you incorporate the letters H, I, J, K, L into music now in this system, um, which I thought was kind of cool. Like imagine writing a song in the key of L, or it's in K major, something like that. But like possibly thinking about things in that way might change the distinction of the keys, or I don't know. But um, the idea is to get away from this concept of like white keys and black keys, because the piano kind of separates it out like that. And like obviously like there could be just mechanical parts of that, which just kind of makes it easier for people to play that way with their fingers. But people have been doing uh, like there's different keyboards that have come out like this like hexagon keys keyboard, Hexalogic, whatever the fuck. And there's this other one that has come out now where it's like this thing you can put it on top of a keyboard, and it's like these three layers of like wooden keys, and what it does is it makes some kind of like interlocking mechanism or something, and it makes it so every single like key and chord has the same shape on the piano. And I am starting like I like stuff like that because it is showing that really there's nothing special about it's trying to make everything just kind of flat. So maybe like if you have perfect pitch or whatever, or there's some psychological thing where like yeah, like other keys they do sound kind of different. Like I personally like C sharp minor. I like that key. But it could be because C sharp minor is the same key that song Passion by Hikaru Utada, whatever. That's a theme song in Kingdom Hearts 2. That is in C sharp minor, and I like that song. I think it's a cool song. Um, so maybe that's why I think of that. I start to like C sharp, um, but so I don't know. You have to like really investigate to see if there's anything really different about the frequency differences and like how it's related to like people's like ear canals and skulls and audio processing centers in their brains and like the underlying science and the frequency of it and that kind of stuff. You really have to study that, I think, to understand that. But if you think of it as just like, well, it's just 12 notes that we use, or like whatever notes we use, like why should it be that like any one of them is any different? Because you could like G would be like on the same level as C major scale or whatever would be on the same level as a G major scale, and like yeah, it's like higher or lower. Like this C is lower than that G, or this C is higher than this G. So I guess there's that difference. But if you want to flatten it out, having something like that keyboard thing that you can put on top of your a piano keyboard, um, make it so like each like scale and chord has the same shape throughout all keys. That's cool. That's also more like how the guitar works, because you can learn one major chord shape and apply it anywhere across the neck. Um, as long as you keep like the strings and tuning the same, and it's the same. And you can learn how to play that like an E major bar chord shape, and you can play an E major open chord because the bar is the nut, or you can play like an A sharp major chord if you just go to the sixth fret and standard tuning on the low E string. Um, but yeah, it's the same. Uh, so that was kind of my goal with this whole like music theory 2.0 project of like being like oh, A through L instead of like no sharps or flats. They don't exist. You can think of it as like a concept of like sharping or flatting the note, but it's really just going up or down a semitone. But I even wanted to get rid of the concept of like semitones and tones or like whole note and half note because like why would you say the movement from something like C to C sharp, for example, is a movement of a half note? Why wouldn't you say it's a movement of one note? Because that's actually what's going on. But if you think of it in the concept of scales, then you realize like, oh well, have we created this whole theoretical system that is based off of keys and scales, which is stupid. It should be based off of the chromatic scale, right? And I think there's other musicians and composers and people or maybe have had similar ideas like there's Arnold Schoenberg, for example. He was the serial he would do the 12 tone serial system when he would compose music, serial composition. So maybe he was like trying to get away from stuff like that, where it's like, we only have these like these tonal centers or whatever. It's just like, no, I want to do something just, you have these kind of rules where like each measure is like you have to use all 12 notes or something. And so you make it, you take this like, well, oh, but like the major scale sounds good. And it sounds like home for some reason. So maybe we should base all of music theory around it. It's like, well, then why don't you just, I don't know, just base it off of the chromatic scale and like the because there's more things that have come in that are interesting and that they're cool. It's different colors, different flavors, different palettes, and to have a system that it makes it easier to allow for all that stuff and it's maybe nicer. And I know, for example, in my experience learning how to sight read and do music notation has been hell. I'm still really bad at it. I haven't done anything where like something like I practice it every day or something. I haven't done that. For like decades or something. But like I've had an easier time learning other things. It's just always like for something about it is just unbelievably taxing to my mind. It's like ugh, like it's ugh. It feels like you're like putting your fucking fingers into your brain and ripping little hairs out. Like it's awful. It's so painful. And instead of just like kind of grinning and bearing the pain, and just doing it, which I hate doing, I try to think of ways to make it better. And I don't know. I still want to explore it. I have these like things that I have. This whole Music Theory 2.0 project. I'm gonna pull it up because maybe I can work on it a little bit today. Um, uh, Oh yeah, Music Theory 2, I called it. um, but yeah. Yeah, and like I found this problem. Maybe I'll just show it really quick. I found this problem where, here it is. Yeah, this is my idea. So it's like a 6-line staff. And I tried to make it look nice. So like, um, I forget what this is. This might be just a major chord, like a simple like C major or something. And each line and space is just goes in letter order. This is like A, B, C. Um, if it is, you know, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. Something like that. Um, but yeah, this was this idea I had. But I noticed this problem where it's harder to like one staff, like this is like one octave, right? And the thing with the current system is that you can sort of display comfortably like 2 or 3 octaves in a staff, um, without like doing uh, the 8 VA minus or plus or whatever, that kind of thing, or 16 VA. You don't have to do that, or have all these like crazy ledger lines. But with this system, because there's no enharmonics and things are more spread out, so it is harder. Like it's hard to display. Like this is it's easier to display like one octave, and you could do like a few ledger lines, but it looks really crazy. So I was thinking of this idea where like you have this new kind of notation that does this, or you just do the 8 VA thing. But even the 8 VA and 16 VA, whatever, that has to be changed too, because you have to get away from this idea of like building everything around the major scale. Um, so because like 8 VA, that little sign that says like go down or up an octave based off of what it shows here, that's based off of this idea of like a perfect eighth, or like an octave interval, which is like, that kind of thing. Uh, that is that's what I'm trying to get away from, because really, uh, an octave is really 12 notes above or below what you're doing. You count 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I don't like the whole AVA 60, whatever. I think that's what it is. I'm pretty sure I was saying AVA. It should be 12. So you can do the 12 whatever. And I also don't like how like everything is like basically a combination of like Italian and whatever. It should probably pick one language. So probably just Latin only, maybe, if you want to do that, or just or English, because whatever. Um, but so I wanted to change that too. Like basically, I wanted a compression and a unification and a cleaning and a smoothing out of music notation, music theory, because I think it's too complicated. And I think a lot of it is just like we just tack on all this shit, so you have this like crazy complicated beast that is like a Frankenstein that's developed over hundreds of years. And it's like just have like a nice clean standard. And I became a software engineer, for example. And there's stuff like that in software engineering too, where you have these like Frankenstein languages that have these like deprecated features and shitty style or whatever, and they add like new things, but you have to maintain the old stuff too and make it backwards compatible, and that can get ugly. Um, and I know the XKCD comic where it's like, oh, this standard is awful. We should create a new standard that everybody should follow. And it's like the first panel is like problem. There are 15 competing standards or something. It's like, oh, this is terrible. Let's just create one to like unify all the standards, and we just go along with that. And then the next panel says problem. There are 16 competing standards. I get it, because that happens. Because the thing is that you can think your thing is so genius, and then problems start to come up, and you're like, oh, we have to add to it. We have to add to it, and then it becomes more like a Frankenstein again. And I know that problem, but even so, like, I still thought maybe we should do something, because maybe we are due for, because music. I don't know how many times we've had that. Maybe we are due for a compression in terms of standards, um, because I think like the things have been the same for a long time, and like jazz came out and did some different notation, and you have like guitar tablature, and you have there's like Nashville notation and stuff. Um, I think they changed some things, but like maybe we need a kind of like more compression or something that's kind of updated, or like an alternative system that is simpler, and you could think of it as like a living standard too, because like for example like HTML is like that, CSS is like that. I think it's a living standard, and same with JavaScript as well, or really ECMAScript. They don't have these like versions anymore. It's kind of like this like living standard kind of thing that comes out, just add new features over time, fix things. Uh, So maybe music could be thought of like that, but I don't know if there's like this real, like really intense logical thought that's coming into it, because a lot of musicians, especially like secular, like pop musicians, whatever, they're not really that heady. Like they're much more right-brained, and they don't like this kind of organizational logic stuff. A lot of musicians do not know how to read sheet music. They don't know much music theory. It's kind of like just go by feel, and they learn by copying other musicians, and they just kind of experiment all day, which is cool, because obviously a lot of people make really great stuff that way. But I think personally, like there's stuff where like a lot of music theory and notation, for example, turns a lot of people off because it seems very complicated, and me myself included. So I was trying to think of ways to simplify that, instead of just accepting, well, this is just how it is, so I better just drum it into my head. I hate that shit, especially as like a programmer, where people were always. I mean, now everyone's obsessed with AI, so people have not been doing that stuff now, but like it doesn't seem like it. I don't know. Um, but in software engineering, everybody was constantly trying to create a new programming language, a new paradigm, like or a new like framework, and like, no, this is better, this is better, that sucks because of this. We should do this instead. And I liked that energy. It's kind of nice. It's kind of annoying because a lot of shit would come around. You have to keep track of it, but um, and a lot of stuff like wouldn't really catch on or whatever. But you know, um, I think maybe it's good for engineering overall because it was like people really passionate about different problems. I'm eating ice cream with cocoa powder in it. People really passionate about different problems would like war at each other and try to make things better, which is nice. And I feel like you don't see that with like music logic and theory and notation. It's just kind of like, well, this is just how it is. You just got to learn it. It's like, why does no one try to change it? So I don't know. Maybe I just not aware of it. Maybe I'm just not aware of it. I think one of like the latest efforts of this is MIDI itself, as I had to like think of some way to express music digitally. So if you can just take that and like have this like really regimented, clean way of displaying it on sheet music, which I do have, you can do that. But is there a way we can make it less like artsy looking and more organized and logical, like a programming language, or like a grid or a graph? That could be kind of nice, or it's like easier to read. Great example, Hangul, the Hangul, like the my accent's wrong. The language like Korean, um, or at least their writing system. I think they used like Chinese symbols and everything before, but it was hard for people to learn it. So there was like one emperor or something that created a simplified writing system that could represent all the sounds and words in the Korean language. And I remember it was a meme because it was going around because it was like, oh, it's actually really easy to learn. And they had like charts and shit. They were showing people like, this is how you learn it. Whereas like Japanese kanji, for example, is complicated and there's a lot of symbols and it's like a lot of it is like kind of memorization and you can kind of break down things, but like the individual symbols in the symbols, the radicals, like they call it, or different strokes and whatever the fuck, but like it doesn't necessarily correlate to sounds, right? But Korean does. You can combine different symbols into like one block kind of thing, and it correlates to sounds, and there's a way to read it. Um, I thought that was cool. So it's like you could think of things like that, like with music, and like I said, I don't fully like how a lot of this is. Um, I think some of it's just got too complicated, like all these like lines and staffs and shit and key signatures. Yeah, I call this a note shift. Um, So I don't know. A, B, C, D, E, G, 1, H, I, J, K, 1. Oh yeah, and this space above here. So the space above this note here, the top note, this will be K. The space above would be L. Um. Anyway, yeah, that's just the stuff I was thinking about. Uh. Um. I gotta like clean or something. And eat. Ugh. What the fuck? Never listen to people who just relentlessly try to dominate kids. Or like it seems like that like their entire task in life is just to make sure that kids are under control. That is like not a good way of doing things because kids are humans, and especially once they reach around age 13 to 18, they start slowly not becoming under your control, and that is healthy and that is normal. I think that's the source of a lot of fights between parents and kids. With these parents, like they don't understand that or they don't want to let it go because there's some abuse going on there, some trauma or whatever. Um, and they don't understand that, like, once your kid hits like 13, seriously, you start to you have to have this process where they're becoming an adult, and you need to let go because otherwise they're just going to fight you. And then if you think like, well, why are you fighting with me, it's like because you're not giving me freedom that I need. And it's like, well, you don't need freedom, you're not 18 yet. And it's like, no, that's bullshit. It starts at 13 or so, and that's why in so many cultures, like, you become a man or a woman at 13. um you just have some more growing to do, but that's fine. That's you have to start shifting the burden of society and responsibility, and also pursuing your dreams and your own happiness and working towards starting a family. That starts at like 13. That's really when childhood is like over, I think. But um, it's not like you thrust kids right into like the mines or something at 13. No, it's just like you just start the process. And you really should be starting that before too, teaching your kids things, teaching them about the world, showing them things, having them do it for you and like in front of you. Like, here, now you try. It should be happening the whole fucking time. The whole time. But this idea that, like, okay, now you have to like hunker down for another 5 years and then you can leave. It's like, no, that's not accurate. I think that is a very American ideal. Um, I said, but you're still a kid. It's like, no, you're not. You're not a kid anymore. You are an adolescent. It's a different stage. So we do expect more from you. You should be doing more. You should be learning how to be more independent. You should have more freedom. And if parents are like, no, I'm not giving that to you, it's like, that's abuse. It's some kind of abuse. You're not raising them properly. You're not doing the right thing. Because if you're just trying to make things convenient for you, you're not being a good parent. Because it's not about you. It's about them. And yeah, you gotta be reasonable. It's like, look, I can't keep up with blah blah blah. Like, I gotta go to work and that kind of shit. But like, there are things where it's like, okay, like your kid is like 14, whatever. Like, all right, like, and that's when you can get your driver's license in some states. So you have to like take your kid out. Like, hey, okay, um, you can't drive yet, but I'm gonna like start talking to you about what I'm doing on the road while I'm driving. I'm gonna teach you what things are in the car. I'm gonna teach you how to like pump gas. I'm gonna teach you how to like change a tire or something. Um, I'm gotta take the car to the mechanic, and I want you to come with me because I want to show you how I'm talking to the people in order to get these things done. You got to start doing stuff like that, and I was in a situation where that wasn't really happening. Like, it was a fight you know, you know, no, I'm not doing that for you. Or like, I had to like remind people like, hey, we got to do this because I'm getting older, blah blah blah, and that's really not good. Your parents should kind of have like not like this plan that you must follow, but your parents should be planning. I've been planning what I want to do with my kids since I was a kid. And that's how you should be doing things. And if their parents or people are just constantly, whatever, I'll worry about it when I get there, you're not preparing enough. You're not. Since I was a kid, I've been thinking about how I want to raise my kids. And that's normal, I think. That's how you should be doing things. If you're, no, I don't want to think about that right now. It's like you're not preparing for the future properly. You're being an asshole. And maybe you shouldn't have kids, that kind of thing. Um, but that's a thing. So, um, I think the tracking your food is really good too. I'm doing that right now. Okay, that is weird. Yeah, keeping track of like your food, for example, is a really amazing thing to do because what happens is you can have your daily diet or something, but when you put it on paper on a screen in an app, and it breaks down, okay, here's how much folate you had today. Here's how much vitamin A. And you can start to see deficiencies like, oh, I regularly don't get enough fiber, so I should eat more fiber. That would be good for me. That's a good thing. Your life is like a resource management game. You want to think of it like that. Track your metrics, track the basic stuff. Like, okay, what did I do today? What do I have to do today? What do I want to do? What did I do before? What do I have to do in the future? Where do I want to end up? What did I eat today? Did I exercise? How's my health? When's the last time I went to the doctor? When's the last time I went to the dentist, eye doctor? Fucking stupid American system. You just keep track of yourself. That kind of stuff. How much sunlight did I get today? Did I talk to anybody today? It's a good thing to keep track of because if you're having health problems or you're having problems in life in general, focusing on those basics might fix some of those things. Like I had like no, I felt, how do I like get the motivation to do all this stuff? It's like, well, are you drinking enough water? And for me, I wasn't drinking enough water, and I was like that way for years. I just was not drinking enough water. This is really bad, and it caused health problems, and I felt lethargic, and it's hard for me to function. So that's important. You gotta drink water, man. That's an important thing to do. You got to do that. Gather your supplies, organize your stuff, you know, do some basic cleaning once in a while. That's a really good thing, you know. I add this to my arsenal now. There's this cool straw that they made. It's like a telescopic straw that you can adjust how wide it is and do these singing exercises, um, which is really cool. So I want one, but for now, I have just a bunch of different straws that I can sing through and figure out stuff. Um, it's cool to add that to your arsenal. Something I'm thinking about too is that there's really no way to make money that you're above, um, like in terms of like if it's ethical or not. Like, you know, you may not like farming, for example, but you can like if you have land that you have access to or some dirt, you can get some soil, put in a pot, grow a few edible plants, so water them every day, and then in like a month or so, you can have like a product that you can eat or you can sell it. And even if it's like $5, like here, you want I grew like a little plant and there's some microgreens or something. It's edible, like you can eat it. I'll give you some for like $5. That is $5 that you didn't have, and then you can scale that up if you want to, get into it. Um, but you know, there's just stuff like that. But there's other things that you don't have to do that are unethical, like selling drugs to kids or something. Don't fucking do that. Obviously, that's illegal. I hope I don't get flagged. I'm using that as an example of what not to do. Um, but yeah, there's that kind of thing. Um, but don't think about it in terms of like, well, you know what, I'm not interested in that or whatever. You know, because you can make some money. Um, and like you don't have to do anything crazy. Like don't go into like a fucking mine or something. But maybe you can like figure out how to help them out with it or something. And if it's unethical, like you find out they're doing like child labor, okay, you don't have to associate with them. But if it's like something we need, like we need some iron so we can do whatever. It's like okay, like fucking figure out something, um, or like mow somebody's lawn. Um, it's not a big deal, but it sucks. Like people won't even let you do stuff like that anymore, like because they expect you to have like this like arsenal of fucking landscaping equipment. So shit's really hard for young people, I think. Even if you want to get things started. Um, so I don't know, but just do stuff, make some money because it's that first that kind of money, like just it's taking some time out of your day to make that number go up. And you don't have to like have a job. You can start your own business. You can do things for people for money. And if you do it like really quick, then you can get paid quicker, stuff like that, which is a good thing. But if it like you're stuck in that kind of like hourly wage, that sucks. That sucks because there's no way to speed that up. It just kind of doesn't matter how hard you work because if you work really, really hard or something like, you know, you don't necessarily get more money. And that's a problem. But if you have something where it's like the harder you work, the more money you earn. Like the more you do of this one thing, like, like sales or something. If you sell more, you earn more, right? That kind of thing. And unless it gets capped, which you want to, I don't know how you should do. I don't know if that really happens, but like That kind of thing is good because you get the more you do stuff, the better you get at it, the more money you make, right? And it's a direct correlation. So if you can do stuff like that, that's really good. Um, a lot of money. I think another good piece of advice is don't sacrifice too much of your present happiness for future happiness. Because they say like that's one of the biggest things that can determine success in the future is if you're able to delay gratification. But if you delay gratification too much, you don't enjoy your life and you don't live it. Because the thing that you have to realize is that you're living your life right now, right? And you don't exactly know where you're going to end up in the future. You don't. You plan and prepare as best as you can for it. But if you're living for until you're 65, that year, you wait to live your entire life until you're 65. That's fucking crazy. It's fucking nuts. Especially if you are like you'd be doing something like, well, I'm doing waiting until I'm 30 to live my life because you're like, oh, I'm just gonna like earn a lot of money and then retire early. That's kind of what I was trying to do, um, and I regret that because I missed out on my 20s. I didn't do anything. But yeah, my 20s, I didn't do anything. I didn't do shit. Like people will go on vacation, they'll go to parties, they'll go to concerts and stuff. They'll fuck and go to orgies or whatever the fuck, like go to bars, clubs. I didn't do any of that. I did none of that. And there's this culture, at least at the time, there's these people that come out and be like, smart. He's a smart kid. He's going places. Wrong. Because what happens is that you hit 30 and you're like, oh my gosh, what have I done? My entire 20s are gone, and I didn't do any of the cool stuff. I did nothing. I wanted to fuck. I wanted to go to clubs. I wanted to go to bars. I wanted to go on vacation. I wanted to go to concerts. I wanted to do all that. I wanted to get a bunch of different girlfriends. Yeah, but like I was so imbalanced that I was just forcing myself to work all the time. And you can sort of like push yourself to do that, but it drains you, man, because you're imbalanced. And that took me like, you know, 10 years to realize. Um, I only realized that when I quit my job and travel to Japan. Like I was like, holy fuck, like what have I done? This is horrible. And I felt really bad and I wanted to fucking die. Um, well, really, because other things. It felt awful, and I finally felt like I could like just relax and be when I was just going out and having fun and go to this crazy country that I loved. Um, but don't be that person who is just studying every single day until you're like 30. You will become an awful person. You will be boring, and you will regret it. You will feel like you have not lived your life, so you can do that in your 20s. You can be that person where you're like, ah, okay, I want to drink a little bit, Okay, let's try some weed, you know. Oh, someone has some magic mushrooms. Okay, let's try it. I might get banned for saying that, but just make sure you don't just take random shit and make sure you can trust people. Do your research and stuff like that. Be careful. Pace yourself, blah blah blah. Um, and watch out too, because they say like doing like smoking too much weed before you're 25 can affect your brain development. So you got to be careful with that. Um, But yeah, have fun in your 20s. Go do that risky thing. Take a year off and like do some like character building trip in Europe or something where they have some sort of program where you like volunteer or whatever. Go do that. That's what you do in your 20s. And if you think, no, well, I'm gonna play it smart and just stack cash and get like a really high paying job and just work all the time so I can retire when I'm like 35 or 30. I don't think it's a good plan. It's not, because I was trying to do that and I regret it. It's not fun. Because really what I wanted was I wanted to have fun. I wanted to have a good youth. I wanted to enjoy my youth. I wanted to fuck a lot. I wanted to fuck a lot of girls. And I continuously just didn't do anything. Didn't go anywhere. Didn't go out. I didn't approach women that I liked. And what I didn't realize is that, I thought they didn't like me because they were quiet around me. Uh, but actually, and often that meant that they liked me. I didn't fucking know that. Nobody explained that to me because they were scared. They were shy. And it's complicated if you don't have anybody to guide you. Um, because yeah, I don't know if I really had that much guidance, or maybe I'll regret saying that. But yeah, I would just see girls like they enthusiastically talk to other guys, but like around me they were kind of quiet and they would get shy, and I was like, what the fuck? What did I do? So I just thought they didn't like me, but like no, I think a lot of girls actually thought I was cute, and that's why they were quiet. They were nervous. I didn't know that. Um, and I think yeah, plenty of girls that did not, and they didn't like me, but like that's fine. Uh, but regardless, what you got to do is you got to go up to the ones that you really like. Just go up to them, and you might get rejected, and they might laugh at you, and people might make fun of you. But like the same thing as going after your dreams. People might make fun of you and really relentlessly mock you. You got to go for it anyway. And really, like often that's about other people because maybe the girl won't really care that much. She'll just be like, oh, thank you, whatever. I don't know, but you gotta try anyway. You gotta try, and then you have to see what happens because she might actually like you. You might go on a date. You might fuck. I'm fucking crazy. Um, but the thing is that well, no, I'm gonna wait until I'm like 30 and I establish myself and I have all this money and I'm successful and blah blah blah. The thing is, man, a lot of girls in their 20s don't want to date men in their 30s. And this is a lie that was spread around by like this red pill asshole. Um, the guy that wrote the Rational Male or whatever said like, oh, well, everyone likes a male who's 35 and successful. I don't know, man. Like no. Like if you want to go to like a college party, girls aren't gonna like bring around this like 35-year-old dude who's like, has a stock portfolio. They're gonna bring around like the fucking like 19-year-old hot tall guy who seems like he has an attitude problem and likes to smoke, because he looks cool. Like that's how that works. So if you want, it changes depending on your age. But I was really dumb and I was like, well, I'm gonna be smart. Like it's okay if you want to do that or if you are like that, but like there's different aspects of it that you have to do. Like if you're 20, like work out. That's something you should do. Try to dress cool, dress nicely, and doesn't mean like suit and tie, like I don't know, just like try to like see what other people are wearing and see if you can find some stuff that you like and wear that kind of thing. Um, and have a little fun. You don't have to like go and like, hey, dude, we're gonna like break into this store at 2 a.m. People do shit like that. You don't have to fucking do that. But like, like work out a little bit, do that. Build a little muscle. Girls like that shit. Seems like they do. I don't know, but don't be like, well, I feel uncomfortable with all this stuff going on in my 20s, so I'm just gonna go stick my nose in my work and just work for fucking 10 years. Don't do that. If you're really passionate about something, go for it. Like if you want to be an artist or musician, okay, do that. But remember to have fun because you only do it once. It only comes around once. And you cannot go back to your 20s. And you think you won't care. Man, when you hit 30, you'll care. You will fucking care. Especially, like, at the very least, if you have a lot of regrets, you will care. You'll get really upset. I got really upset. I would beg God to please send me back in time because I fucked some things up. Sorry, God, cursing while I'm saying your name. I don't know, that's just OCD or what. But yeah, because I felt like I missed opportunities. I was like, please, please send me back. And of course, it didn't happen. But I think, like, in some ways, maybe God has helped me pursue some of those things that I miss now. It's not going to be the same, but at least I'm still trying to go for it, right? And I think it has been destructive doing this because it's hard, but it's better than being like, well, I missed my chance, I'll never do it again. It's like, no, because, for example, like Leonard Cohen started his musical career at 33, and I'm 32. And I have a lot of music knowledge and practice and songs that are written and put it out there, so maybe I'm ahead of him. So don't think about things like that. I can't be that hot, young, like teen or like 20 something doing this because I'm 32. I can't do that. But I can do as much as I can, right? I can work out now. I can dress nicely, dress sexy, dress hot now for what I can do. I can write music now. I can put music out now. I can promote myself now. And it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea because there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be like, well, you're too old. I don't like you. And that is a thing. It's like, okay, no worries. It's okay. It's not for you. Don't worry about it. But you just got to keep going because there are still people that, will try to see the Rolling Stones on tour. This still happens. And it's not exactly the same. Taylor Swift, for example, is like 34. But of course, it's not exactly the same because she got really famous when she was, like 13 or whatever, 16. I don't fucking know. It's not the same. But that's another thing too. Don't think like, oh well, they got famous later, so don't worry about being a teen now, and I'm your parent, and I'm not letting you go to that audition or something. It's like, no, do it now, fucking idiot. There's plenty of people who got successful when they're like 40. Don't worry about it. It's like, no, don't waste your fucking time. It's so stupid. The parents they just say that shit because they're scared or because they don't want you to upstage them. That's a thing that can happen. Or they're just really lazy. They don't want to take you to auditions. Or they think like, well, no, I'm going to really discourage you from trying to do that because you're not going to make any money. And that means they don't believe in you, which is bullshit. So, but you got to do it anyway. Don't worry about even if your mom believes in you. Don't worry about it. Go do what you want to do. That's it. How do you eat an elephant? One bit at a time. That might take you 3 years to eat that elephant. That's okay. um, but as long as you consistently keep trying to eat the elephant, you can see in aggregate where you were before and now that you have eaten more. Right? It's a good thing. So you have something really complicated, like I want to learn advanced mathematics. And you look at this mountain of work that you have to do to like really get good at it, like to like how these things be second nature. And you can go to khanacademy.org, for example, and you can look at all the things you have to do, and you're like, holy shit, this is insane. Like, it's gonna take fucking forever. And it's like, yeah, but what if you start now? Right? Um, oh, I didn't need to do that. What if you start now? Where could you be in 10 years? Because it might take you 10 years. I might calculate out, oh, it's going to take me 10 fucking years. Okay, so what if you do that? You can do like 15 minutes a day. The fuck is that? I'm doing this shit. What the hell? Is that why it's doing that? Sorry, I'm trying to like show my stuff here. Oh, you can look at all this shit. That's insane, the amount of work. Like, oh no, I'll never finish it. It's like, well, what if you started like 10 years ago, which I did, and I stopped. I stopped doing this shit. Like, okay, just math. You don't look at this stuff. Just look at the math stuff. This is all free. And you just go through and you do everything. You take it slowly. And it might take you like a few days to get past like certain humps and stuff, but if you just keep doing it over like 10 years, where could you be? You know, you could be really good at advanced mathematics, so something like engineering would be a lot easier for you. Well now, like if you want to work with AI, for example, you know, like really doing it, that can be math. So, this is like eating an elephant. Like I literally went through and I was like, doing like second grade math and stuff, just so I can like 100% complete all this shit. I mean, you might not know everything about math after all this, but you're gonna be better than before, right? So, yeah. I also don't think you like you can probably skip ahead and stuff. Like I probably don't need to do all this. I could just search like math for AI, for example, or math for video games, and it'll tell me like stuff that's relevant. I could just learn those things, like linear interpolation, trigonometry, that kind of stuff, and then just focus on those things. But doing all this, even though it might take a long time, would still make me better, probably. Um, that's a good example. Don't think, oh, it's going to take forever. It's like, yeah, time is going to move forward anyway. It just depends on like what you divide your time on during the day, right? Even if you do like 15 minutes this every day, 5, 10 minutes, it's still more than what you would have done if you didn't do it at all. So it might take you a while, but like if you're sitting there for like 15 minutes, it's like, oh, well, I have nothing to do. So you can just do it. And you can like break your day up like that. You can have this thing where you devote 15 minutes to like these long, large scale things. It's just like 15 minutes, like whatever. But it's still better than nothing. It's small. I mean, it's not going to be the same as if like you were working in a field where you have to do this stuff all day, like you're a physicist or something. Um, but it's still something, right? And it can get you somewhere. And that, like this small daily habit could get you further than you would have been. It can help you with something that might come up that you wouldn't have been able to do before. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna log off. I think.